Let's take a look at our news diary here at SABC. Some of the stories we'll be covering today. Now, a Cabinet Lekgotla meeting gets underway to discuss the State of the Nation address, which will be delivered next week. That's the 20th of June by President Cyril Ramaphosa. And then former NPA boss Xolisi Nxasana is expected to testify before the State Capture Commission of Inquiry today. And three former SARS officials, former Acting Commissioner Ivan Pillay, Andries Janse van Rensburg and Johan van Lochrenberg are back in the North Gauteng High Court today. They previously appeared in the Pretoria Magistrates Court where they were charged with various counts of corruption, including allegations of having been part of the so-called rogue unit, which allegedly spied on various high-profile politicians. And we also look at the alarming rise in suicides at the University of Fort Hare. This after a third student in one semester took their own life. The incident took place at the Alice campus. And the High Court in Bloemfontein will sentence father and son Norman and Marius Delport for defrauding SARS of more than 60 million rand through VAT returns. Now, they submitted fraudulent claims from 2011 until 2015, and the refunds were paid into the accounts of three entities. One company got 34 million rand after submitting 62 fraudulent claims. So those are some of the stories we'll be tracking here on SABC. Let's take a look now at some of the top trending topics this morning. The first one there is hashtag Pray for Sudan. And the issue here with Sudan is, of course, that it relates to the unrest going on. And there is a crackdown, it would seem, and people have been killed, and reports of that as Sudan struggles post the al-Bashir era. And there's also talk about some killings, a massacre, as some have called it. Pro-democracy activists in Sudan saying that they will suspend the strike and agree to continue talks with the military on the formation of a transitional council. But of course, the violence taking center stage here, and depending on where you're looking, those stats vary, but it seems as though there are more than 100 people who've been killed. They're saying around 700 people injured, 650 arrested. Some women have been raped as well. Men also, we understand, being raped in this regard, and over 1,000 people missing. And as I say, it depends on where you're looking, what you're reading. Those numbers may vary, but it would seem that those incidents are being reported, and that's why Sudan is trending. And hashtag Kelly Khumalo, and this, of course, after the weekend reports that there may be arrest imminent in the Senzo Meyiwa case. So Kelly Khumalo basically coming out and saying that she's setting her side of the story, saying that people have been bullying her, especially on the social media platforms, and that she has absolutely nothing to hide, had nothing to do with the death of Senzo Meyiwa, and those who believe that she has something that she needs to still divulge should go to the police and make sure that they put that out there. So basically, Kelly responding on Twitter and other social media platforms, and the nation reacting to that. And then hashtag Santon, and this was a fun one. So there was a tweet that went out yesterday, and the guy was basically saying, and I was hoping we could put it up. So the guy was basically saying he's looking for a rental property in Santon. There it is. I'm looking for a house to rent in Santon, around 2,500 rand per month. Must have a swimming pool. And people went absolutely crazy responding to this tweet. It was at number one last night when I went to sleep. And some really, really fun answers coming through. People were telling him he's dreaming. You can't even buy like a toilet in Sandton for 2,500. You can't rent a toilet for 2,500 per month. And then others were saying, of course, that, yeah, it's possible for Sandton Extension 1 in Alex. So, it was just really a fun thread there. So, yeah, those were the ones that were trending this morning. Right, that wraps that. Let's take a look at our question of the day. And this is where you get to engage us on a particular matter. And this morning, we're asking you, what is your view on ministers resigning from Parliament after losing their ministerial positions? What's your take on that? Is it much ado about nothing? Are they well within their rights? Is there a sense of entitlement attached to this? Let us know what your views are on this matter at Morning Live SABC. That's our Twitter handle. And please also, you can send us Facebook messages, Morning Live SABC. Alternatively, you can just use the hashtag Morning Live, and you can use that for all communication with Morning Live.